शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुर्गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। निधाय हृदविश्वेशं विधाय गुरुवन्दनं बालानां सुखबोधाय क्रियते तर्कसङ्ग्रहः। So we completed Atma, then the last Dravyam is Manas. Okay. Again, this is a very important element like Atma because we talk a lot about Manas. We talk a lot about mind, we talk a lot about intellect and all that stuff. But this concept is also very vague in nature. I mean, if you are not having the exposure to the Shastras, it becomes a lot of what do you call because sometimes it feels this to be manas, that to be manas, and all that stuff, right? Because sometimes whether it is in between what you call just a second, uh, in between the brain and the neural functions, something physical or it is metaphysical. So there will be a bit of this thing. But essentially, it is bhautika in nature. Bhautika in the sense, I mean, it is it is similar to this indriya concept, right? So indriyas, if you see, indriyas are not totally physical, right? As we said, the eyeball is not chakshurindriya. The eye is not chakshurindriya. The nose is not ghanendriya. But they are the places where they function, the indriyas function. Similarly, manas is also an entity which needs a place to work. So therefore, it is more like you can only uh, comprehend its existence through the outcome. Okay. As you have an outcome, based on that, you then try to understand the cause for it. So it is beyond the physicality. It is definitely something physical, but beyond physicality because you cannot see it or feel it like you can feel and understand certain objects. It is not like that. So similar to the indriyas, indriyas. And interestingly, in Nyāya-Shastra, manas is also considered to be an indriya. It is also a sensory organ. Okay. So what is the definition? So definitions that way they are crucial because because it is through definition that you are able to understand it. Without the definition, it's a bit hard, right? Sukhadyupalabdhi sadhanam indriyam manaha.
सुखाद्युपलब्धि साधनम् इन्द्रियं मनः सुखाद्युपला
Upalabdhi. Sukhadyupalabdhi.
सुखाद्युपलब्धि साधनम् इन्द्रियं मनः.
So upalabdhi is what? Upalabdhi is experience, anubhava, right? Sukhadi upalabdhi sadhanam. Sadhanam means what? It is the means, right? Through which you experience pleasure and etc. So essentially, whatever your inner experiences. So experiences can be what, you're seeing, you're tasting, you're hearing. These are also our experiences, right? But these experiences can be classified broadly into two, external and internal. So that means based on actually experiences, all experiences are internal because you experience within you, but you classify this based on the subject of your experience. What do you mean by external experience is it is not that out of your body you're going to experience. It is that inside your body you're going to experience. Yet the subject is outside. The color is outside. The taste is outside. Right? It is not within you. It is outside. It is in something else that the subject is. and the experience happen within you. So therefore, that is why we call it as Bahya Pratyaksha and Antara Pratyaksha. Bahya Pratyaksha is Bahya Vishaya Pratyaksha. So the subject is Bahya. And these subjects such as Sukha, Dukkha, Jnana, right? Ichha, Dvesha, these all are subjects which are internal in nature. So they are inside, right? So Sukha cannot happen outside. It's not like the color, it's not like the taste. Okay. So it is inside. So as similarly, similar to how you need a particular tool to experience the outer subjects, such as you need Chakshurindriya for experiencing color. You need Rasanendriya for experiencing taste. So each and every subject has a particular what you call subject. Each and every particular sense organ has it addresses one particular subject, right? So it needs a tool. You need a tool to actually comprehend and experience it. Similarly, there are many subjects which are internal in nature, for which you need an indriya, a tool. Without that tool, you cannot actually experience, right? So that tool is called manaha. So that is why manas is also an indriya. And another thing that is the the another unique um, aspect of manas is it is not. I mean the subjects are not cannot be actually even confined to, such as Chakshurindriya cannot uh, grasp other than color. Rasanendriya cannot grasp other than taste, right? Okay. You cannot know the color of an object through your Rasanendriya, right? You cannot know a color of an object through your Shrotrendriya. So these are the limited, nature. These are the limits that they have, right? But coming to Manas, if you can once see, can you remember the sound of some song that you like a lot? You can just remember it, right? You don't need that sound to be present. So remembrance has all the subjects, right? You can remember the color that you like. You can remember the taste you like. You can remember the sound you like, right? You can remember the touch you like. Okay. So therefore, and all of these are subjects in what your remembrance. Remembrance is what? Remembrance is knowledge, right? Is one kind of a knowledge, which happens to be the internal element. So Manas has this, you know, a greater, ability to grasp all the subjects. But there is a difference that Manas cannot grasp. Just a second. So, but there is a difference between the experience, right? Remembering color is different from experiencing the color that is existing outside, right? Remembering the color of that shirt that you're wearing is different from actually seeing it and knowing it, right? Yeah. So this is the difference. The manas cannot actually uh, grasp the color of your t-shirt as you can grasp it with your eyes, Chakshurindriya. but it has the ability to recollect. So there is a nuanced difference. Okay. And another interesting fact is, without the manas, even your chakshurindriya cannot function. That is why we call, right? I think we talked about this also, right? Your mind absent and body present. If your mind is absent, even though your organ is there, it is working, the indriya is there, it cannot actually grasp. So this is the key, nature of manas. Okay. So this is the, briefly, broadly about it. And manas is an entity which is tagged to your atma according to Nyāya-Shastra. Okay. So as jivatmas are many, manas is also many. Each jivatma will have one manas. So you can say that each atma is tagged with one manas to function. Okay. Taccha pratyatmaniyatvatvat.
तच्च प्रत्यात्मनियतत्वात् तच्च प्रत्यात्मनियतत्वात्
Anantam paramanurupam nityancha.
अनन्तं परमाणुरूपं नित्यं च अनन्तं परमाणुरूपं नित्यं च.
So taccha pratyatmaniyatvatvat. Pratyatmaniyatam means each and every atma has one manas. Prati atma niyata. Niyata is what it is. What you call invariably. Invariability is called as niyata. Invariably, one atma will have one manas. Okay. And how many manas are there? Anantam. Because jivatmas are ananta. The number of jivatmas cannot be counted. So therefore, even manas also cannot be counted. And what is the size of it? So you see here, jivatma is vibhu. So that is the size. It is there everywhere. Whereas manas is said to be paramāṇu. It is paramāṇu. It is of the size of the paramāṇu. Why? So there is one thing. This size of manas is essentially only confined to Nyāya-Shastra. In other darshanas, the size of manas varies. So this is something that we need to know, because these are not, so as you know, multiple darshanas, even though they are astika darshanas, there will be a different take. Each and every darshana will have a different take. So this manas being nitya and paramāṇu is confined to Nyāya-Shastra. Okay. So the reason why they tell that, accept that manas to be paramāṇu is because we have swapna, jagrata avastha, swapna avastha, sushupti avastha. Have you heard of them? Jagrat, swapna and sushupti, right?
Yes.
So Jagrat is what? Awakened. Swapna is dream state of a dream. And Sushupti is the deep sleep state. So one of the interpretations of when does Sushupti happen? So we have three nadis, essentially three main nadis. Ida, Pingala and Sushumna. Right? So when the manas enters Sushumna nadi, it is Sushupti, is one of the definitions of Sushupti. So what happens in Sushupti? In Sushupti, knowledge will not happen. So you don't know anything. Sushupti is what? Deep sleep, right? So therefore you don't know anything. So why are you not knowing anything is because your manas has entered Sushumna nadi. So therefore it cannot generate knowledge. It cannot work to generate knowledge. Right? Okay. So if entering and exiting has to happen into Sushumna nadi, if it is omnipresent, there is no concept of entering. Right? If you remember, while we were talking about Vibhu, we even discussed about the purpose of an action, Kriya. What was the purpose of an action or an Kriya is displacement. One of the purposes is displacement, right? If you're not there, you need to go there. If you are there, then there is no need to go, right? Similarly, if Manas is ever omnipresent, then there is no concept of entering Sushumna and coming out of Sushumna, right? So therefore, this entering and exiting out of Sushumna can only happen if it is not omnipresent. So therefore, it is not Vibhu. So then we are left out with two other measurements. That is Madhyama Parimāṇa and Anuparimāṇa. Madhyama Parimāṇa is what? So Vibhu is what it is called as Parama Mahat Parimāṇa, which is Nitya in nature. Nitya is eternal, right? So whatever has Vibhu Parimāṇa, it cannot be created nor destroyed. If it is Madhyama Parimāṇa, so whatever has Madhyama Parimāṇa, it can be created and can be destroyed. So like all our bodies are in Madhyama Parimāṇa. And there is Paramāṇu Parimāṇa. Again, Paramāṇu Parimāṇa is also eternal. It cannot be, whatever element is having Paramāṇu Parimāṇa, it cannot be created nor destroyed. Okay? Like Paramanus, they do not get created or destroyed. So if Manas is not omnipresent, if it is not having the Vibhu Parimāṇa, then we are left out with two other Parimāṇas. What are they? Madhyama Parimāṇa and Paramāṇu Parimāṇa. If it is Madhyama Parimāṇa, what is the issue? That it can be created and can be destroyed. So subject to creation and destruction. If subject to creation and destruction is there for Manas, so there is a possibility that Manas can be destroyed while you are there. So that means in your lifetime, like many other things get created and destroyed, even Manas can be created and destroyed. If Manas can be destroyed, then how can the continuity of remembrance and etc., the whole process of knowledge generation and retention happen? Because everywhere key is Manas. So that is something that we don't like. So therefore, the last option is left out, that it is Paramāṇu Parimāṇa. And it also will help us with the definition or the state of Sushupti. So therefore, it is Paramāṇu Parimāṇa. And the other thing also, logic is that knowledge is multiple knowledges cannot happen at the same time. So knowledge has to happen in an order. So that means in one second or in one kshana, there can only be one knowledge. There cannot be multiple knowledges. So this is another aspect. We'll go to it afterwards. But essentially, so it needs to follow an order. So this can only happen if Manas is Paramāṇu Parimāṇa. So this is another yukti, a logic that they state, but that can be dealt afterwards. For until now, we can have this Parisesha Nyāya, which we call it as like logically, deliberating how it can be. What if it is omnipresent? If it is omnipresent, then the concept of Sushupti cannot be, we cannot understand or we cannot substantiate the state of Sushupti, because entering and exiting Sushumna Nadi has to happen. So therefore, it cannot be omnipresent. So then we are left out with two other options. In those two options, which option is more viable? So this is how you try to evaluate purely, logic based. This is all. So if you see here, the structure in which, or the approach which Nyāya-Shastra, if you see until now, many things are logically proven, or logically, they are tried to, proven logically, right? It's not like everything is as it is said in Shruti, therefore you have to accept. Each and everything will have a logically, okay, if this is this can be the issue, so therefore we have to accept this. Apart from, there are a few things like the Jaliya Sharira, Taijasa Sharira, Vayavaya Sharira, and etc., where, it is like in the Aditya Loka, Varuna Loka, and Vayu Loka. Other things are more structured and logically they are all, positioned. If you go to the Vedanta and etc., there they will first state the Shruti first, if at all it is there. Shruti, that is the Vedic, verses, and say, Shruti says this, so therefore we accept this. In addition, not only Shruti based, but even logically also we can prove this. So this is how they approach. The Vedantins approach would be quoting, citing from the Shruti, Smriti, or other sources. And then in the second phase, they substantiate the same truth with even logic. But in Nyāya-Shastra, very rarely that we see that as Shruti is stating so and so, therefore we will be accepting this. So this is the fundamental difference between the approach of proving any topic.
Got it.
Okay. So I think as it is Pramāṇu, Manas, so therefore it is Nitya. So the Nitya, that is, Manas also cannot be created nor destroyed. So therefore, how many Jivatmas are there? There will be that many Manas also. And even Paramatma will also have a Manas, which is eternal. So therefore, Atma and Manas both are also eternal entities. But Atma as an entity is omnipresent and Manas is not. So this is the fundamental difference. Okay?
Got it.
I think this is enough for today.
Guruji, I had a question.
Yeah.
We were discussing something recently, and someone asked, is God male or female, like in your view? And from my understanding, as whatever I've heard from everyone, is that it's both and neither, that it can be perceived as in many rupas of being both male and female, but it's also like nirguna, Brahman is nirguna. And then someone said that, yeah, it's napumsaka. And then someone asked if that is a degrading or insulting term to use when referring to God. So I wanted to ask.
No, actually, so you see, I mean, so yeah, I mean, we do have an expression of, if you are stating that you are napumsaka, then it is degrading. So that is there in the colloquial, this thing, tum napumsak ho. So that means that, I mean, you're not having the courage. Is actually stating being a
Okay.
napumsaka.
Right.
And even naturally also, we do have, bigenders, right?
Right.
Both the gender. I mean, that is natural phenomena. It's not the nowadays, this,
Right.
gender, not through operations, but naturally there is a mutation that is a possibility, right?
Right.
Due to some reasons, we do have like, those kind of characters in Mahabharata and etc. also, right? So when Arjuna has this short phase of Shikhandi and
Right.
etc. also, you do have that this thing, and definitely we do have they have a place in our culture, which we call as them as transgenders or something, which are natural.
Right.
So there is a concept of Napumsaka that is being both, and that is where we bring in this concept of Ardhanarishvara. So it's not a degrading this thing, but it is more about inclusivity. That we're talking about male, female, Napumsaka, and beyond these three, also, the God. So when we are calling it as Napumsaka, it is in which connotation that you are asking, I mean, calling it. Are you calling it as a transgender connotation, or an entity without the concept of sexuality?
Okay.
If you're
Got it.
talking about it is beyond sexuality, then we have to call it as Nirlinga rather Napumsaka. Nirlinga.
Nirlinga.
So Alinga or Nirlinga. So it doesn't has anything. Neither Puman nor Stri nor Napumsaka.
Okay.
Because we do have an Napumsaka element also, which is also existing. We do accept that. So therefore, which is beyond these three, is the Nirguna Parabrahma, which we call it.
Okay.
Because like Ardhanarishwara Tattva is essentially both an amalgamation of the both, which is Napumsaka essentially. It actually comes to the Napumsaka fits the Napumsaka state, right?
Okay, got it.
Therefore, we do have deities like Nardhanarishvara, which is Napumsaka. Which is beyond that is actually is Parabrahman, where you don't have these three
Got it.
ideas also.
Okay. Thank you, Guruji. Namaste.